Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to another video here, and today I'm going to be doing a video on yet another one of Blink-182's side projects called Plus 44, and I'm going to be reviewing their only album that they've released called When Your Heart Stops Beating. And this album was released 4 years after Boxcar Racer's album came out. And then 4 years later, Mark Hoppus and Travis Barker wanted to form a new band with the guitar player of the band called the Mercy Killers. And this album, by the way, this copy of it actually has a couple bonus tracks on it. Has Baby Come On and Weatherman done acoustically on it. And this was released during a time where there was lots of confusion about Blink-182. I mean, there's still confusion nowadays, but at this time I'd say it was probably more of a confusion between the fans and the band more than ever, actually, for many reasons. And there's actually a song that kind of talked about this a bit, No It Isn't, and the reason why it was titled No It Isn't is actually because they knew people would think the song is about Tom DeLonge, which it wasn't. It was actually about a few record executives and everything that have kind of screwed them over the years, and they thought they were friends and everything, but they turned out to be pretty deceptive people. And they actually cleared it up pretty well. I mean, there's some people that still thought that this song was about Tom DeLonge, but I think without a doubt, almost every Blink fan out there would probably think this was about Tom DeLonge, because he left the band and went off and did his own thing with Boxcar Racer and Angels and Airways, which Angels and Airways had an album that actually released this same year called We Don't Need to Whisper. And Tom DeLonge pretty much announced that he was going to be staying in Boxcar Racer and not really returning to Blink-182, at least for a little bit. And with this side project they actually didn't do too bad, honestly. I'd say this is one of my favorite side projects actually that Blink-182 has done, along with Boxcar Racer, which are definitely my two favorite for sure. I mean, they had songs on here like the single When Your Heart Stops Beating, which is kind of more of an upbeat kind of single, which definitely adds some uniqueness to this album because it kind of sounds almost like a Blink-182 song, but a little more electronic wise, and it was actually a little more experimental, I think, than Blink-182 even was during their self-titled album. And there were other songs in this album that just gave me the chills totally too, like Baby Come On, Weatherman, and Make You Smile, which are all kind of slower songs kind of, but they're more melodic for sure, and definitely have some of the greatest lyrics I've ever heard from Mark Hoppus of all time on this album. And man, there were some songs in this album that really stuck to me as a kid, like Chapter 13. That song is pretty dark, honestly. And like I've said in some other videos, you know, and when I was in my teens, I wasn't the best mentally at all, and I was kind of going through a lot of downtrodden things, and this song was one of the ones that definitely helped me through those times and helped me relate to other people and what they may have been going through at the time, and it was pretty cathartic for me during the times I was going through. And with Jerry Finn producing this album, he made it a lot better for sure, with a lot of the things he added to this album. Like, he's responsible for some of the more ambient things that are in Plus 44 and Blink-182 and even Green Day. And with this album here, it definitely does shine as well, along with all those other releases that Jerry Finn has worked with other artists on. And overall, I think this is an album that actually does kind of grow on you over time, but still, even the first time you hear it, it is a pretty decent album for sure. Some people may not think of it that way, but the first time I heard it, actually, I didn't think it was too bad, but when I heard it like the second, third, fourth time, it really started to grow on me, listening to the lyrics more closer and everything, and all the things they could interpret really, and the relativity to things that I've been through in the past, or, you know, feelings I've had. And overall, I think there are a lot of people that may have thought this was going to be a bad album, but when they heard it, especially when they heard it at least a couple times, kind of changed their minds on their preconceived notions about this album, of what it was going to be, what they thought it was going to be, but they actually, you know, changed their minds once they heard it, like I said. And, you know, overall, this album was a great album, honestly. The only complaint I have about it really is the guitars could have been a little bit stronger, but aside from that, I don't really have any complaints about this album, and I think this album from start to finish is a great album. So I give this album a 4.5 out of 5. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this album in the comments, and I will see you guys later. Peace.